Okay, everyone, welcome to another session of Painting with J. Robinson Art. We're going to be using our Peiloff products, and we're going to be painting today this very wonderful and very easy elephant. Before I get started and we go over the equipment, I just want to say this. There are several ways you could paint this picture. I happen to have gotten a little detailed, but you could even go more detailed than what I've shown you here. But I just try to make my paintings interesting. And I'm going to show you today, step by step, how you could develop a painting like this and perhaps even take it further if you desire. But anyway, let's get started. So what we have here is we have our canvas. We have our peel-off image on the canvas. We have an 8x10 canvas that we'll be working on. We have a paper towel. We've given you a plastic apron. There are two brushes. A number 4 and a number 2 script liner. We have a spatula. Off camera, I have a cup of water. We have our bag of paints, and this is our palette sheet. This is where we're going to be placing the paint. Now this painting is a little advanced, but that doesn't mean anything. I label the paintings that way so you'll know that some of them are going to be a little bit more challenging than others. This one just happens to be fun and challenging. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over the colors that we're going to have. We have a burnt sienna. We have white, black, orange. We have another umber, yellow, and another sienna. So we have 2 siennas. And we have 1 umber. Now basically, I don't like to take all of the paints and just put them out, but if that's how you like to work, please feel free. I'm kind of going to put them out as we're painting, so this way we can develop the painting with one way and then put out the paintings that we need to keep going further. These 2 I'm going to put to the side. This one and this one I'm going to put to the side. We're basically going to be starting our painting with these 2. So what I'd like to do first is I'm going to squeeze out a little orange. Nice package. You just pop it open. Squeeze out a little color. There. That should be good right there. Bear with me. Then the next color we're going to use is going to be yellow. So I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow. I'm going to squeeze this out. Now the cool thing about our videos is, as you know, they're on YouTube. So you can rewind them, pause them, play them as often as you like. You can watch the video completely through, or you could just paint along with me as I go along now. And that's the J. Robinson Art YouTube channel. So I'm going to pick up this brush. And we're going to start by just placing some color across the sky. We're going to be streaking in some colors to about here. So let's start with orange. We're just going to start splashing some of that across the canvas. Just going to try to push the paint around a little bit. I like to say have some fun, push around a few colors. Now I'm going to introduce a little yellow into the painting, just to kind of brighten it up a little bit in spots. We're going to pretend that we're painting somewhere in the Serengeti. This could be India. This could be the Bronx Zoo. So we're just going to create this very nice warm sky. See how I'm painting right across the peel-off, because that's going to come up and that's going to help us to define our elephant's body shape. And that's basically all peel-off is. It's an aid to painting. It allows you to be creative, but it provides you with a little bit of help. Now the kit comes with these brushes, but you could always buy and add your own brushes. Trust me, I have like an arsenal. But I'm going to try and use this brush that comes with the kit so that you can see that you can still get a nice rendering. Trust me, different brushes provide different effects, and as you know, the tools make the job. Okay, so here I go. This is good. That's a nice sky. I'm going to take wash my brush off. I call this ringing the bell. And I'm just going to wipe it on the paper towel. Put this down for a second. And we're going to pick up the next color, which is going to be a little bit of this sienna. This is actually the burnt sienna. I don't need a touch of this. So I'm trying to break the picture up atmospherically. So what I'm going to do now is, I think before I start, I want to add just a little bit more orange, because once I start putting in this color here, I won't be able to go back, and I don't know where the trees are going to stop and where they're going to start. Yes, these are going to be like tree-like. Okay, let's just go with this a little bit more. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment. Just going to make sure I scrub. See how I'm scrubbing right next to the peel? I want to make sure that every inch around it has color. Now I'm going to come with some of this sienna. And I'm just going to dash this in right about here. This is going to act as some distance stuff. Later on, it's going to also be some trees. Now, my classes aren't meant for you to follow every single thing I do. It's to show you how simple, quick, and easy it is to be creative. And in doing so, you get to explore your creativity. Okay, that'll be good for that. Now we're going to squeeze out one more color. That's going to be what I like to call the foreground. Put this down for a second. Move this off to the side. And that's going to be this darker umber color. Just going to mix a little bit of that right there. Because in real life, as in paintings, things that are closer to you are darker. Things that are further away become lighter. So here we're coming closer to us. So here I want my ground to be a lot darker. See, I'm just overlapping into that color. Doesn't really matter. This stuff is just for decoration. The real thing is the elephant. Okay, so while we're working, let's just have some fun. Don't be too tight, too stringent. Be loose, you know, just, you don't have to make straight lines like I'm doing. You could just get some color in there to just break those separations down. There. There you go. There you go. Just going to smooth that out a little bit. Try to make sure the paint's not too thick in any one particular area. Because what we're going to do is, in a few moments, wash my brush off right now. We're going to let this dry up for a second. But before we do, let's take some more of this sienna. And just squeeze out just a small amount of this. I give you a lot of paint because you never know what size canvas you might decide to work on. It's always good to have some color later. I'm just going to mix a little bit of that and a little bit of this together, just to give me a color that's going to start to act as the trees. Now, see, I'm holding the brush flat. See, I'm not going to hold it this way. I'm holding it so I can see the flatness of it. And I'm basically going to be trying to use just this corner here to just tap what I'd like to call tree shapes. Of course, they're not real trees. They're in the distance. But you see, by tapping, I get to control a little bit as to how the trees work. And I'm just going to get a little bit more of this color mixture and just tap right down here to the ground. I'm going to show you how to blend that in. And all underneath here, some distant tree shapes. And by tapping, it makes those cute little shapes. And they can act as jewels later on. You know, let's come back here behind the tail area. Grab a little bit more of this. And just tap right up into here. Again, these are just basic tree shapes. They're not really meant to be anything but some trees that are way far in the background back there. We know that there aren't that many trees on the Serengeti, but we're using artistic license. Just going to tap this so I can blend this right in. Let's just go back to this and give another streak of this color. It's kind of dried a little bit, which is good, and that'll make it easier for this next application to be richer. Because sometimes I like to go over colors more than once just to help bring them up. And the fact that we're using acrylic paint and it dries so fast, this up here is totally dry. This will be dry in a few moments, but I'm not going to wait. I'm going to take some more of this, and I'm just going to put this in. You see how darker that gets? See, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to add some more value to the painting. I'm going to squeeze out just a little bit more, just to go over this part. Oh yeah, I'm going back up in that sky, but not right this second. Just gonna let this set all up for me. See how much richer that becomes? And you see, once we take the peel off, you'll be painting around it, and that could take a long time. The idea for the peel off is to make projects kind of fun, easy, and you don't have to stay on them too long. You can spend more time on the details of other things. All right, let me clean this off. I just want to richen up that sky again. So with this cleaned off brush, I'm going to go back into the orange. And I'm literally just going to, oh, look at that. I'm just going to hit that and just darken that up just a tad. And it doesn't matter. You see, even though that's orange, I could actually pick up yellow and put that right here. It won't matter. It just adds to the brilliance of the sky. So you're not stuck to any rules here. You're just trying to create an atmosphere, a look, if you will. That's the real key to art. It's supposed to kind of look like the stuff. Let your imagination and your eyes go wild. Just gonna darken this up, work my way around that tree area. There. That's great. That's great. Cleaned off my brush, and you see all these wet spaces? I'm just going to help them along. I'm just going to come down here and just take the brush and just streak them a little bit, just to help make them dry faster, because I'm pushing around the wetness of the paint. We're still going to take a few seconds to let this dry, but that's good. That's great. Now, although you're not going to see it, I am going to let this dry, and I will be right back. Okay, again, while it didn't appear like it because we live in a technological world and I'm shooting a video and I just paused it and resumed it, you didn't realize that I had stepped away for about 3 minutes or so. I would give it about 5 minutes before I would come back and attack this, but for purposes of continuing on, and I do have a lot to do today, I didn't take as long, but I'll be okay because I want to show you how to finish this up. But you should take a good 5 minutes and you will have a nice, dry, completely dry painting. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel off my image. But before I do that, the first color that I'm actually going to put down is a tiny bit of black. Now again, a lot of my instructions may not make sense in the beginning, but if you just hang out with me and follow what I'm saying, you too will be able to create this wonderful elephant painting. You see how I have that black right there? I'm just going to use this brush so I don't have to clean off the other one. I'm going to take a tiny bit of it, and while you don't really see it, right around here in the head area is an eye that I left open for you. I'm just going to paint it. That's it. That's all. And that's before I take the peel off. And that's for, again, a helpful thing for individuals who may not be, all that versed in painting. So I've given you as much help as I can. Now you would take your spatula and find any spot at all where you can dig in and peel up just a small amount of this peel off. You see how I stuck it right back here in his derriere? And right in here, I've peeled up just a little bit. That's all I need now. From here, I'm going to be able to peel the peel off the canvas and reveal the silhouetted image of the elephant. Just taking my time. And the little dot that I gave you will help you to indicate where his eye is. There. Now I have my elephant silhouette. I have my background picture already painted. And now we're going to work on the elephant. And this is going to be the intricate part of the painting, the detail part, to give this painting the best possible rendering for you. There are a lot of ways you can do this. There are a lot of backgrounds you could have given this. You could have put him near water, just painted some blue and white down in here, put him on land, paint yourself a nice blue sky. You could have gone about this background in so many different ways, which again is another asset and beauty of paint and peel. You get to be as creative as your imagination will allow. You could paint this elephant any way you want to. I'm going to show you one way. You could determine if that way is good for you. So now I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to squeeze out some white. And what we're going to be mixing is some gray. So don't get intimidated by paint mixing. It's part of the learning process. It's part of what you're going to have to do as an artist. You see, I only have a little bit of black because it's very strong. And I'm going to take some white. I'm going to stir that up in here, and I'm going to get me a gray mixture. Now I'm going to show you the easiest way to paint this elephant. Okay, the easiest way is to mix yourself up some gray. Doesn't have to be a tremendous amount. And then just come in and go right along the edges and put that color in. Now, I wouldn't paint it this way personally because I find it's too solid. It's too much of one gray color, and I like variations in my painting. So I would just be mixing as I go and painting as I go. And I'm going to try to give you the idea of that. You see how I put some of that gray up there, and I'm now mixing some white, and I'm just going to come along the edges and pull it in so that it's a really, really light variation. See? Because there are shadows that help give off the impression in this painting. But I don't want you to feel like you got to spend hours and hours doing this. So I'm going to try to speed this along. Not a speed painting, but just so you can see the variations. Because to me, these are intricate to make the painting look dimensional. But now I'm just going to show you the quick and easy way. See, I'm taking my time. Taking up a little bit of the grayish color, a little bit of the white, and I'm just going to try and block his body in. But I don't really want it to look like a solid painting because that looks really boring to me. And it wouldn't act as a great indicator of how you can make your elephant. So I'm going to go with the lightest version, and then I'm going to show you a trick in a few minutes. But for the purposes of the painting, for those who want the quick, easy, and simplest way, follow along. See, we're starting to get the body in. I'm going to put in a little some white just to pull that color down. Mix a little bit more of this grayish tone. I know you can see it right here on the edge. I'm trying to make sure I stay in camera for you. And then I'm just going to brush this in. See how I'm taking my time and just guiding the brush right along the inside. Don't come from this angle because you could mess up your sky. Stay in here so no matter if the brush hits low, it's fine because you could always fix that. It'll be hard as heck to fix outside. This is the most time-consuming part, but you want to just take your time here and just slowly build it. Working one area at a time. Keeping the brush moving, keeping the paint moving. That's the key, because remember, acrylic paint dries quick. I mean, like quick, fast, in a hurry. It's one of the beauties of acrylic paint. So I'm trying to work little areas at a time, but I'm keeping consistent with continually building as I go. Now I'm going to come down this trunk. See, I'm trying to get rid of the hard lines by scrubbing the color that's looking too solid. but you got to keep it moving. I mixed the white in because I could always come back and add the gray. And that's why I like to paint differently than just mixing up one whole color and just blocking everything in, because it really doesn't look right. It really doesn't. Looks better when he has a lot of variations of colors everywhere. So just try to be free with it. Have some fun. That's what's important. We'll get there. The journey. The journey. The discovery and the journey is key. Okay. Now, right now, I know you're saying, that doesn't look too hard. It doesn't look too complicated. Maybe so. You even saying, that doesn't even really look like an elephant. But it will. Just stay with me. Right now, I'm just showing you how to block in your gray areas and soften up your hard lines and just keep it moving. That's what this is. This part of the lesson is for you to see that it's just a scrub, 3 minute in the tub kind of motion. Put a little color, mix a little color, add a little color, see? But just keep moving. Don't stop and wait and chat and be disrupted, because when you come back, you'll be fighting against the wind. But if you stick with this particular part, no matter how long it takes, and just keep working that area, one area at a time, you will succeed at getting this job done. See that? Easy peasy. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be kind of interesting. Scrub this down a little bit. I like that part. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to add a little white here to soften this hard line up for me. So when I come back with my mixture, it's not going to be against a hardened background. Take this. I'm over here now. All right, let's just add some of this. See, now, if something like that happens, wipe off your brush, pick up some white, and just go back at it. Push it around. Spread around. Share the wealth. No problem. No harm done. No harm done. See? We're going to be darkening up this painting in places anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to move it around. See? Just move it around. No problems. Doesn't matter. It's going to add to the variety. It's the spice of life. Scrub, 3 minutes in the tub. See? See how easy that is? See how much fun this is? Oh, I like this part. This is nice. I'm going to put some white back here. I'm going to separate these legs in a few. Pick up some of this darker value. See that? We're almost there. We're almost there. Just layering in that color. There you go. How's that? Good so far? Everybody all right? And now we have our grayed out basic body shape of our elephant. Now we're going to have some fun. Now the fun part to me is once you get this part painted in, you can build from here. And how you build from here is basically how much detail you want to put into your elephant. So what we're going to start off with first is his head. Now there's an ear, but we have to create that ear. That ear isn't actually going to create itself. So what I'd like to do is first I'm going to start off right here on the hump of his head, leave a little empty space, create a hump, and then I'm going to start drawing some dark color right around, down around his trunk, his eye, and then I'm going to show you how to form his ear. So just stay with me. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pick up a little of the dark. I'm going to mix in some white. And we're going to take that color. As a matter of fact, here, let's work with this brush. This should be easy for a lot of you. It'll be like a pencil. Take a little dark. This is good. Just remember, we could always lighten this up. Taking up some of the water. Now, I'm going to put my pinky on him. I'm going to create the hump. right here. See this? This is going to be the hump of part of his head. See, I'm just going to come right, bring that color right down the front of the trunk. I'm going to leave a little opening here. And then I'm going to leave some space, just like I said, because I'm going to create the other part that's right around here. This is going to help create the other hump. See? And this hump, I'm just going to connect these two, leaving a little bit of space. Now I'm going to switch back to this brush because I really want to work faster and bring that color all the way down the trunk. This is the shadow part. This is going to help give your painting dimension, perspective, if you will. I like working the color as far as I can get it. Then I'll come back and soften the edges just to blend them in. And you see how that works? Just dry brushing now. Take a little bit of white, a little bit more of this color. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to add that and just start blending this color in to give the head shape. See that? Look at that. And that quick and that easy, you've created his head. I'm going to soften this color up a little bit. Now we're going to create his ear. And to create his ear, you just want to make a shape. Just a shape, that's all. So you could just come right here where we left off and just make his ear like this and say that's going to be where his ear is. And while we have this, let's define inside the trunk in his mouth. So let's just make a little check mark right here. Check this. And we're going to blend this dark right to the lip. Almost like he's smiling. There. And this is going to act as his mouth part. And we've already established where his ear is, right? So now let's grab some of this color again. We're almost there. It'll all make sense in a second. We're going to fill this part in. And we're going to come here and start to define his ear. See? Blend that color right in to here. And then I'm just going to soften this all up. And that's going to be the basis of his head. How's that? Pretty easy, right? Told you. Now my scrubbing is just to soften up the colors a little bit. See? See how it's starting to come together? And now let's add a little bit more of this gray value. And let's just come right off of this and say his ear is going to stop somewhere here. I'm just going to soften this up. You could spend hours painting this picture, but again, this is the formulation of his ear. Now the cool thing is, you're going to take this dark color and actually draw in the rest. So you come here and you say, okay, this is the low part of his ear, and it's going to go around and around like so, and then we're going to start breaking this off like that. And that's his head. We'll come back to that. But let's create the shadow that's underneath here, because we can reshape this by adding a shadow that's underneath his ear here, that's going to actually come underneath his body right here in the front. See? And then from here, we're going to cut right across and make that leg. See how we push that other leg back? See? And now we take this brush again with a little bit of color, mixing up a little bit of the gray value. And we're just going to come right near this and start introducing a little bit of a secondary toned value right where we made that hard dark line. Then we're going to take some white and blend that back a little bit. See? Softens it up. Mix up another little batch of gray value. That looks about right. And we're just going to introduce that right back in here. See that? Now we have the muscle element of that leg. And since it's in the front, we can just go right like that, and that's it. Now again, you could spend a lot of time on this painting, but we don't have a lot of time. We're going to spend enough time, but not a lot of time. We're not going for super duper detail. All right, so now we have our head, we have our leg, and we have the formation of our ear, and we have our back leg. Just that fast. Now I'm going to show you how to separate this front leg from the body. So we pick up a little black again, and we're just going to go right in between here, and we're going to just create a little bit of a shape like that, a little bit of a dimple like that. And then we're going to take this dark color, and right along his belly, we're going to add some dark right in this area here, all back up and down here. And then we're going to stop, pick up our flat brush again, put a little white, mix up some of this gray, go right along the edge of it, and continue right here. See, now we have the belly part. And we're just going to take some white by itself and right along the edge, soften this all up. There, see that? This is a female elephant, and you could tell by the hump on the back. Males have a larger hump. It's like the difference between an Indian elephant and an African elephant is the ears. But all elephants, the male has a higher and more rounded back, and the female has a kind of a delicate back. I'm just going to scrub this. Just going to let that go like that. That's fine. See? Look how we're developing this. And I know this is a little bit longer than we normally do in our videos, but that's okay. This picture's worth it. Now we're working our way towards the back. Now I'm going to show you how to separate the back leg and his front part here by putting some dark black. We're going to come right in between this area. We're just going to make like a little V shape. Make it dark. And then we're just going to draw a staggered line like so to represent the belly part and the leg part. And that pretty much is a good separation. And now we're going to take some of this color and go to the tail. And right at the very top, we're going to add some dark for the shadow on his tail. We're literally going to paint the top part of his tail black, coming all the way down at an angle to about right there. And that helps show a distinct tail section. And now for the leg part, you just put on a little bit of color. You go right into this part here, right at the, you see where the little dimple is at the bottom? So you take it right at the back and you just go up a little bit. And keep going up until you find that back leg, see? Told you. Easy peasy. Take some of this dark color and go into the ear, and you draw a little skinny line here and a little skinny line here, and a little skinny line here. This acts as the wrinkles in that big elephant's ear. You know, I could almost hear him right now. And then we're going to take and clean off our brush. We're going to put nothing but white on the brush. And we're going to create what I call little buttons for his feet. So we're just going to take the white, make a little mark here for one toenail, the other toenail, the other toenail. Take some white here, one toenail, another toenail. I like to do 3 on each, except for the one in the very back because it's partially hidden. So that one I'm just going to give 2. And there, our elephant is finished. For all intent and purpose, you've created a beautiful elephant in no time. Well, I hope you had fun. I know I did. I look forward to painting with you again. We have a series of paintings that you can see on Peiloff.com. That's Peiloff.com. You can buy kits that come with all the equipment that you need. And of course, you could always view the videos on our YouTube channel. So I hope you had fun. Until next time, take care. For those of you who are interested in taking this painting further, I will be doing a part 2 to show you how to add even more details. But for now, this painting is complete. I hope you had fun, pushed around a few colors, and was creative. Bye.